All right, let's get to our fifth and last lesson in our series. Again, it may be a little bit too complicated. I'm trying to cover many topics in music and now in the keyboard for you guys to understand. It may be a little bit too much for 5 lessons, but this is the core, is what I would call the main thing to learn in the keyboard. Once we get hold of these things and we can basically we have control of all of these aspects, we can basically build whatever we wish in the keyboard. This is the spine. This is the main thing that we need to learn. After that, everything, there's more to it, of course. It's not in 5 lessons that you're going to learn everything about the keyboard, but it's the main thing about it, and then from there we carry on. Today we're going to talk quickly about scales. So scales. Watch the first lessons first, the 4 first lessons. Now we get into scales. Based on our 4th lesson, where we spoke about tones and semitones, you already know by now that a semitone is the smallest distance between the notes, and a tone is a semitone plus a semitone. So that's 2 semitones. It adds up to a tone. To build a scale, and we're only gonna be talking about one scale for now, just so you guys get the base, understand all that. We're gonna take C into consideration. So C is our base. We're gonna talk about scales. The scales, what does a scale do? Again, it's a scale, so it's a sequence of notes. That's musical notes being played one after the other. Is a scale of notes where we're gonna play basically 7 notes. So there's 7 notes inside the scale. We can add the 8th. The 8th is gonna be the first, exactly like the first, like an octave. So the 8th note will be the C, like we spoke, is an octave. But the scale is 7 notes in here, and they are arranged in a certain way. This certain way we use is basically the same way for all the notes. If we start from A and organize our scale in this way, we can make a scale of A and so on. Today we're only going to be talking about the major scale. So we're going to get to major scale. There's a minor scale, there's all sorts of scales. Today we're concentrating on the major scale. The major scale is formed by distance of intervals of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. How is that? That's too much. Just look in the PowerPoint next to you. You see the big T's are tones, the ST semitones. So the distance you're going to jump from the first note you choose are a tone, a tone, a semitone, a tone, a tone, a tone, and a semitone. How do we do that? So we have C as our base, okay? So we have C here. First we jump a tone, so this is the second note of our scale. Then we jump another tone, look, semitone, tone. Makes sense? So C, we chose C, jump a tone, then jump another tone, then we jump a semitone. We get to F, right? So C, tone, D, tone, E, semitone, F. There's no black key here, so F, tone, G, another tone, A, another tone, B, and then a semitone to end up in C again. So that's basically it. We can play the scale like that. Okay, there is a right like the right fingers for each of the scales. We're gonna get to that. There's the whole guide. Unfortunately, we won't get to play all the scales just with 5 lessons. This is just a core, like, base for you guys to understand the basics of music. It comes, now we talk about scales. So we choose which one. So C, we're talking about C major scale. We take the C as our starting point, jump a tone, jump another tone, jump a semitone, jump a tone, jump a tone, jump another tone, and jump a semitone. You'll find out that in the C major scale, we only play the white keys. So I've done it in 2 octaves here, but it's basically it. That's really easy. Jump, as it says in the PowerPoint, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, and you're gonna form a scale. The same thing applies to every single key. For example, if we take G, let's take this G, jump a tone, jump another tone, jump a semitone, jump a tone, jump a tone, jump another tone. So that's not gonna go to this white key, it's gonna go to F sharp. So we had F, now we're talking about F sharp, and now jump a semitone, G. Okay, so G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G. Okay, makes sense? Choose the key, G, jump a tone, a semitone, a tone, a tone, a tone, and a semitone, and you're gonna have a major scale. You can go back and forth with it, go upwards, go downwards, but that's just like the base of music. That's really important. The scales, major scales. And for our last topic, we learned about the music, the genres of principles of music. We spoke about sound. We learned about the musical notes. We identified them here in the keyboard. We identified them in the treble clef in the music theory way. We learned how to play the Happy Birthday in a melody way, one note by one after the other. We learned about melody, harmony, and rhythm, the 3 music elements that we need to learn from now. We spoke about music scales, major scales, which is something really relevant. Now, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about dissonance and consonance. Dissonance and consonance, it talks about 2 things, at least 2 things. There's no consonance of one note. It does not make sense. Consonance and dissonance tells us about a relationship that one musical note has with the other one. For example, you can eat your Oreo biscuit and after that just drinking a cup of milk. However, instead of doing one and then the other, we can maybe mix both together and try and see how it works. Eat a piece of chocolate and then eat a strawberry, but maybe put them both together and eat them together. One after the other is the melody, is one after the other by itself. But when we have them together, we have a harmony, we have a relationship. We are feeling both flavors, what both things tastes at the same time. This is what harmony, what consonance and dissonance is about. Basically, consonance is something that tastes good, is something that sounds good in this context. It's basically our strawberry with our chocolate together. That sounds good. That's consonant. That's is a high. Is really consonant. Both things together. And dissonance is something that does not really work together. For example, just a random example. Maybe take a piece of chocolate with a piece of maybe meat, put them both together and try to eat. That's not really consonant. Does it make sense? So dissonants are sound that when they are together does not really sound really good, and consonance is sounds that when you put them together it just sounds really nice. I know that's all the construction and everything, like with as a whole, many years we have been listening to the same things and teaching our ears to listen to these things. But for now, that's all we need to know. I'm gonna give an example. If we take C, for example, and E, and we play them together, look how pleasant they sound. It sounds really good to listen to them both together. Maybe this is our Oreo and milk together. But then when we have, for example, C and F sharp, that's more dissonant, right? So that does not really sound very pleasant. Feels like both notes are not meant to be played together. However, even this way, it still works and it's still used a lot in music. Everything, even if it's like really dissonant, is really important in music. It can be used in different ways. So that's it, everyone. Thank you for watching these 5 lessons. Again, we just started talking a little bit about harmony, about musical notes together. We're soon gonna get to chords, which is something really relevant. Minor chords, major chords. That's the core base to play the songs, to play Adele, to play Ed Sheeran. I know by now you probably want to learn a song and try to play the song as soon as possible, but just believe me, this is the best way. Understanding the bass and what is behind everything will then take us to the songs, and we're gonna learn the songs properly. Again, watch the 5 videos again, pause whenever you want, try to understand and repeat all of the processes. It's quite a lot to cover for 5 lessons, but I believe if you just put your effort and watch it slowly and learning bit by bit, you're gonna have like a really strong base of how to play the piano, how to play the keyboard, and a little bit of music as well. I'll see you on the next one.